Hey gang, we're gonna go over turns now, and I'm gonna try to keep it real simple for you. And I know you're like, well, why talk about turns? I've been turning around my whole life. Here's the difference. You wanna end up in a good fighting stance after you do the turn. So it's not like turning around to talk to your buddy, it's turning around to deal with a threat. So there are a few principles to this. Number one, always try to turn into the turn, don't back into the turn. And it's real simple why. You have better situational awareness on what's in front of you versus what's behind you. And there may be a time and a place where you have to back into the turn, but as a general rule, you don't want to do that. Number two, you want to bend your knee and pivot on the ball of the foot, all right? As a general rule, it's whatever knee's closest to the target. Now, there can be some exceptions to that, but as a general rule, it's whatever knee's closest to the target. Bend the knee, pivot on the ball of the foot. What you don't want to do is do it flat-footed or on your heel, because that puts your weight coming back on your heel, which is not how you want to be. Number three, your head leads the turn. So the first thing I want to do is get my head turning so I can figure out what's going on down there, sort out the threat, sort out what's going on, so my body follows my head as I come around. The very first thing I want to do is get my head around, and then my body follows. And last but not least, I'm drawing the pistol from the holster, in this case, Walther PPQ, all right? I want to draw the pistol and bring it the quickest, most efficient path to the target. So I don't want to bring the pistol out and draw it like this. I want to bring the pistol out and punch it like that. That's the difference. I want to bring the gun straight from the holster, straight to the target in the most efficient way possible, whether you have the gun from the ready or from the gun from the holster, all right? So let me take you through a few. I'm going to go each direction, all right? Turn to the left, facing this way. All right, let's get ready here. All right, turn to the left. First thing is my head leads the turn. I bend my knee. I'm going to pivot on the ball of the foot. I start my draw stroke. I come around. I end up in a good aggressive fighting stance. I come up and engage. Just like that. All right, now, turning this way. My head's going to lead the turn. I'm going to pivot on the ball of this foot. So my head leads the turn, I bend my knee, I pivot on the ball of the foot, I come up, I end up in a good aggressive fighting stance. Just like that. All right, now turn it to the rear. Okay, gang, this is where, now we're gonna turn to the rear. This is where things get a little bit more tricky, but it's still the same principle. All right, so I'll take you through it. Facing this direction, I gotta go this way. Once again, I'm going this way. I wanna get my head around and I'm gonna bend this knee, so I'm gonna pivot on the ball of this foot. Remember, I have gotta get my head around so I can identify what's going on, and I wanna step into the turn, don't back into the turn. So I wanna lead with my toe, not my heel. All right, so I'm looking like this. Come around, bend the knee, and execute the drill just like that. All right, now, other way. Here, this is where it gets a little trickier for a right-handed shooter. All right, right-handed shooter going this way, it's a little smoother, it's a little bit more natural. Going the other way, you're in a little bit of a dicey spot because technically you're going to plant your feet behind you in an area that's kind of an unknown. And that's the most natural way to do it. The way you get around that is get your head around so you can identify what's going on. So if I'm going to the side here, I want to get my head around like this, and I'm going to end up pivoting on the ball of the foot and kick my body all the way around, engage. Just like that. Now you notice if you do it right, coming to the rear, bend your knee and you can pivot all the way around, no problem. If you have to do it on your heel or flat-footed, it's going to be real choppy, it's not going to be smooth. All right, so let me take you through one each, just so you can watch what I'm doing, all right? Turn to the left. All right, turn it to the right. All right, now, facing to the rear, turning over this shoulder. Now, facing to the rear, turning over this shoulder. All right, there it is. Once again, it don't mean to sound like a broken record, but you want to be trying this at home, dry fire with dummy rounds before you ever do it out here on the range. Okay, let me wrap this up for you and I'll go over a few of the key points for you. Remember, step into the turn, don't back into the turn. You want to end up with your feet in an area you have visibility on instead of an area you don't have visibility on. Lead your turn with your head. The first thing you want to initiate the turn with is getting your head around. Pivot on the ball your foot, all right, and then turn on the ball your foot. Don't turn flat-footed or on your heel. All right, when you draw the gun comes from the holster or from the ready position, the most efficient path to the target. All right, and last but not least, you want to end up in a good aggressive fighting position. That's why this is different than just turning around to talk to your buddy. I want to turn around to deal with the threat. All right, once again, practice this at home, dry fire before you do it out here on the range, live fire. Hope you got something out of this. Stay safe. We'll see you back here next time.